Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving deep into the historic 2026 World Cup final, a literal clash of eras. We had an unstoppable European force going toe-to-toe with the defending champions on the absolute grandest stage of them all. We're skipping the fluff and jumping right into the tactical breakdown of how this unbelievable game unfolded and, what it really means for the future of international football. So to really understand this match, we have to start with the ultimate tactical question. How on earth do you dethrone a defending champion? How do you stop a team like Argentina? I mean, we're talking about a squad riding a massive wave of recent glory, led by the absolute legend himself, Lionel Messi. It's a puzzle basically every team has tried to solve over the last 4 years. And, let's be honest, most have completely failed. Well, for Spain, the answer lies in one staggering number, 38. That represents their historic 38-match unbeaten streak, heading right into this final. Think about that. They hadn't lost a single match since March of 2024. Spain didn't just stumble their way into the final, they marched in like an absolute juggernaut. That 38-match streak, it's actually the longest ever for a European nation, completely eclipsing Italy's previous record. They came into this with the momentum of a runaway freight train. Section 1. The Grand Stage. 48 teams, 6 million fans, one ultimate final. Section 2. A grueling deadlock, 90 minutes of pure tension. The contrast in how this game flowed during that 90-minute scoreless deadlock at MetLife Stadium was just incredible. On one hand, you had Spain's totally relentless attack. I mean, they racked up 20 shots and 9 corners in total. And up against that, you had Argentina's resilient defense, anchored by none other than Emiliano Martinez. Martinez pulled off a staggering 12 saves, actually setting a brand new World Cup final record. He was an absolute wall back there, leaping to his feet, hyping up the crowd, and basically single-handedly keeping Argentina alive. And as the game went on, the pressure was just steadily mounting. Spain was completely dictating the tempo, which eventually forced Argentina into making some really tough defensive substitutions. Both of their starting center backs, Lisandro Martinez and Christian Romero, actually had to leave the pitch with injuries. And perhaps the most crucial piece of the puzzle here, Spain's midfield completely, and I mean entirely, starved Lionel Messi of any attacking opportunities. Spain's control was so absolute that Argentina didn't even register a single shot attempt during regular time. Crazy, right? Section 3. The Breakthrough. Extra time drama. Now, let's look at exactly how this incredible tension finally broke. Right at the very end of regulation, in the 90th minute, Martinez makes this miraculous flying save on a Lamine Yamal free kick that was just curling right toward the post. But then, fast forward to the 93rd minute, and disaster strikes for Argentina. Enzo Fernandez gets slapped with a second yellow card for a reckless challenge on Pau Cubarsí, dropping Argentina down to 10 men. And finally, in the 106th minute, the dam breaks. Substitute Ferran Torres pounces on a bouncing cross from Nico and just buries a first-time shot straight into the roof of the net. Right after the match, Torres delivered this incredibly unforgettable quote. He said it was, quote, a goal scored by 47 million people. He connected that incredible left-footed strike to the entire Spanish population, which just perfectly highlights the immense, almost suffocating national pride that was riding on that single defining moment in New Jersey. Section 4. Record-breaking dominance. Rewriting the history books. When you actually look at the data, it reveals that Spain didn't just win this tournament. They totally suffocated their opponents. Get this, they conceded only one single goal across their entire 8 matches. That sets a brand new World Cup record for a champion. And goalkeeper Unai Simon, he set his own record with 7 clean sheets. Plus, Spain became the first nation in history to simultaneously hold both the men's and women's World Cup titles. And we can't forget their manager, Luis de la Fuente. At 65 years old, he bypassed his compatriot Vicente del Bosque to become the oldest World Cup winning coach ever. Now, while their 65-year-old manager was busy joking that he was way too old to join his players in getting celebratory tattoos, his roster was absolutely fueled by youth. I mean, 19-year-olds Lamine Yamal and Pau Cubarsí really showcased a whole new generation of prodigies. By taking the field, these two joined the highly exclusive ranks of Pelé and Kylian Mbappé as some of the only teenagers in the entire history of the sport to play in and win a World Cup final. Section 5. The emotional aftermath. Agony, ecstasy, and friction. As you might expect, the intensity of this rivalry literally boiled over. There were some pretty ugly post-match scuffles, which actually resulted in Argentina's Leandro Paredes getting a red card for going after Eric Garcia and Gavi. On top of that, the political friction of the event was really palpable during the ceremonies. The Argentina players notably turned their backs while the trophy was being presented by US President Donald Trump. So yeah, the soaring emotions of the day definitely manifested in some very visible, highly dramatic ways. But for Spain, all that chaotic aftermath was completely overshadowed by just pure jubilation. Their manager, Luis de la Fuente, summed up the mood perfectly. He said, "We had a date with destiny and we wanted to make it count." He went on to praise this tireless squad that simply stuck to their possession-first identity, played their own distinct brand of football, and basically just refused to lose. Then you have to contrast that ecstasy with the absolute agony happening over on the Argentinian sideline. Just listen to this quote from their manager, Lionel Scaloni. He said, "It hurts my soul. I'm sorry. I'm not sure this kind of group can be assembled again." A visibly tearful Scaloni actually questioned his own future as manager right there in the post-match press conference, deeply mourning what really felt like the end of an incredible era. And honestly, that heartbreak makes a lot of sense when you look at where these players are in their careers. We are witnessing the literal aging out of Argentina's golden generation. Lionel Messi, at 39 years and 25 days old, broke a record from all the way back in 1958 to become the oldest outfield player in a World Cup final. And right behind him, Nico Otamendi, at 38, became the second oldest. They were out there setting longevity records in what is almost certainly their final World Cup appearance. The window for this specific, completely legendary group has officially closed. So what's the ultimate takeaway from all this? Well, it's that the torch has officially been passed. Spain hasn't just won a really shiny trophy, they have successfully ushered in a dominant, brand new era of international football. They completely rebuilt their squad, they stayed stubbornly true to their tactical identity, and they proved to everyone that they are the new untouchables on the global stage. Which, of course, leaves us with one final, massive question. As we close the book on this historic 2026 tournament, we really have to wonder, how will the rest of the globe adapt to a future without its greatest legend on the pitch? And maybe more importantly, who, if anyone, is going to be able to challenge Spain now that they are seated so firmly on the throne? Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer. Keep questioning, keep learning, and I'll catch you next time.